Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's sanity training, today's Thriving Beyond training. I'm trying to find a title for these trainings. So if you've got an idea, post them in the comments below, my friends. I'm excited to have you here, and welcome to today's training. If you're new to me, I'm Burtcher, and I help codependents heal their trauma, know who they are, and create happy relationships in their lives. That's my goal. It's that trifecta there, because that's really ultimately what helps us discover happiness after codependency is those 3 steps. So excited to be able to contribute to your journey in discovering who you are, into healing the trauma of narcissistic abuse, love addiction, and being able to create and sustain happy, healthy relationships in your life. Today I've got to get this shared out quickly before we start to the community. So I'm going to get that done here real quick. Hi, Rita. It's nice to see you. I'm doing well. I'm enjoying the wintry day. Got some snow up here. It's not actually snowing now, but it showed up this weekend. So, and boom, now we're shared into the community. The community is your safe haven here on the internet, where you can find support, guidance, inspiration, tools, healing, thriving beyond codependency. The name of the community is called Thriving Beyond Codependency, so you can Google it or look it up. It's a private community. It is secure. I audit everybody that enters the community. We have a ban list in case you want to put somebody on that list. Put them on there. You can learn more by joining the community. The link above on Facebook, below on YouTube, and if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for being here. Also, if you're on Instagram, check me out on YouTube and here on Facebook. Today we're going to talk, we're doing this series called Reclaiming Yourself, and today it's about self-loyalty and integrity. This particular series is a foundation on which to start your healing from, because our next leap is to create happy relationships. We'll start that series next week. I'm really excited about that because enrollment for the relationship strategy opens next Monday. So, all right, here we go. So, reclaiming self-loyalty and integrity. So, what do I mean by that? And how does this even relate to healing? Don't I have integrity, Marshall? I mean, I'm a codependent. I'm honest. I try to keep my word. Things like that. A lot of times, when it comes to integrity and self-loyalty, for those of us dealing with codependent programming, it's not about honesty. It's not about keeping ourselves. It's not about keeping our word to someone else. It's about keeping our word to ourselves. It's about being true to what matters to us. It's about reflecting a loyalty to our own well-being. So, previous training, we talked about the 2 core priorities every codependent needs to put into their lives in order to actually thrive beyond their codependency. There's honesty and integrity to their well-being. They got to prioritize their well-being. Well, below that, a deeper concept behind this is self-loyalty and integrity to self. Am I keeping my word to me? Am I keeping my boundaries? Am I respecting my limits, my capacities, my wants, my needs? Am I listening to me, or am I prioritizing them over myself? Am I willing to be loyal to myself at the cost of disappointing someone else? See, a lot of times in codependency, we become loyal to the other person at the expense of ourselves. We sacrifice our well-being for their love. We give ourselves up. We void our identity. We run away from who we are. We deny the pain that we're experiencing, its magnitude and its impact. And the From Addiction to Connection course, we go through a sobriety check where we start assessing the impact, the cost of the relationship. And this really reveals to us how we haven't been in integrity to ourselves. We haven't been in integrity to our own ideals, our own principles. We haven't been self-loyal. See, self-loyalty is the idea that I come first. Now, that's important because a lot of people confuse this with I come only. Okay? So, if we think about narcissism, codependency, and interdependency on a frequency, on a spectrum, Over here is narcissism, and it's going to be me, me, me. Interdependency is me and you. Codependency is you, maybe me, you. See how they're opposed here? Healthy interconnected self or interconnected self is about me and you. Okay, so that's what I mean by choose yourself first. You're considering your needs. You're considering your value. You're considering how this impacts you. You're asking yourself, do I want this cost? Do I want the consequence that comes with this choice? Does this add to my well-being? Right? Does this behavior I'm experiencing add to my well-being? Is the way I'm behaving add to my well-being? Right? So if I'm people pleasing, is that adding to my long-term well-being? Am I giving something I don't want to give? Am I adding to my well-being? Am I being loyal to my own integrity? Am I being honest with myself? Right? I'm saying right a lot, so I'm going to try to stop that because that gets a little old. But it's about connecting into a loyalty to us, to the individual, to first our well-being and then to our happiness. So this is not a selfish concept because it doesn't require someone else to do something they don't want to do. It doesn't take from someone else that we don't have a right to. In other words, selfishness is about a sense of entitlement to something that we don't actually have entitlement to. It's a demand to have something from someone else that isn't ours. This is honesty. This is where we start to discover how we fit with another individual. So, in the relationship strategy and the way I approach relationships is from a concept called CISP. It stands for companionship, intimacy, support, and play. That's the 4 quadrants of compatibility. And in these areas, how we fit with the person is what defines the outcome we get in the relationship. And how can we have an honest, playful, fulfilling, loving relationship if we're not being loyal to our well-being first? See, we immediately sabotage our capability of having joy in a relationship if we're giving ourselves up rather than living who we are and demonstrating who we are in the world with respect for ourselves first. Thank you, Rita. Talk with you later. So it's an important practice of coming back to self, back to loyalty, back to integrity with ourselves. So let's talk a bit about integrity because it's kind of a challenging subject sometimes for us. I know for me, definitely had to do some reclamation on this. Integrity is about keeping one's word. It is about respecting the agreements we make, but it's also about communicating the changes in agreements that we want. See, agreements are flexible. They are not permanent. They're not etched in eternity. If we made a commitment, we can change that commitment, especially if it stops working for us. But we have to advance that. That's self-loyalty and integrity right there. If we've made an agreement we no longer want to be a part of, we end the agreement, but we end it in a respectful manner and we move on with our way. Integrity also means I'm aligned with my accountability and I am reliable in my accountability. I'm reliable in following through with my word. So if I say I'm going to do something for someone or do something for myself, I'm going to follow through with that. If I agree to be a certain way, then I'm going to either follow through with it or I'm going to communicate a change in that if that is not something I'm willing to do. Hi, Pamela. Guys, this is something we have to take some self-check-in because some of this is very obvious, but some of it's very subtle. I had an experience earlier today where in the community, I have a very strict rule about not promoting your own group. Do not post links to your group. And someone did. And I'm like, now that's uncomfortable to me because now I have to be confrontational. But I have to be loyal to my principle, right? I have to be loyal to my own principle there. So I had to do it. And that's what loyalty looks like. Loyalty expresses itself as, okay, well, I have this principle. Person A and person B are, person A violates the principle and person B is upset about the principle, but is also violating the principle in response to person A. I have to address both of them from the principle rather than from a loyalty to the individuals. This is making sense? Hope so, because loyalty ought to be about what we agree to, right? And then we live it. And I live from principles. I don't live loyalty to person. That I have found to be a lot easier to navigate in my world, because then I don't have a conflict with, well, I'm got to be loyal to this person, but it interferes with my priority. No, my priority, my principles, my core values come first, and the relationships come second. This allows me to choose myself first and stay in integrity to me as a human being, as an individual. Because for me, I've prioritized trusting myself first. And if I'm not willing to stand up for my principles, I can't trust me, right? So that comes down to, are we willing to value ourselves? If we're working to love ourselves, what choices are we making that violates the integrity of that decision? Am I giving myself up to other people? Am I tolerating things that hurt me? Am I doing things that I do not want to do? Am I doing things that put me outside of my capacity, for instance? Am I overdoing it? That's a breach of integrity, because I'm violating my own limits, my own capacities there. So in reclaiming yourself this week, guys, consider how to be more loyal to yourself, more loyal to your needs, your wants, your capacities, your limits, how to be more aligned with the values that you espouse that matter to you in your world, and then see how you can build integrity to them so that you can move farther beyond your codependency, more into your self-advocate, to your inner badass, and discover more of your innate power, brilliance, and well-being in this life. Okay? If you want assistance in that, I recommend the relationship strategy, because we go very deep on outlining what these principles are for you, how they work in those 4 quadrants of compatibility of companionship, intimacy, support, and play, so that you can have one integrous, fulfilling relationship with yourself and one with others. The link is below on Facebook, above on Facebook, below on YouTube. It's just the TRS link. You can get on the wait list there. Appreciate you guys. Remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. Be safe out there, my friends, and I will see you in our next training. Bye-bye.